Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second season with Dunkirk. Yeah, you heard that right. We had offers to join other clubs, but unfortunately, they were either clubs outside of the top 5 European leagues or they were clubs in the second division of said leagues. We had offers from 3 separate French Division 2 sides. Le Havre, they put in an offer for us. Another team that put in an offer for us was Rhodes. I'm not sure if it's Rodez or Rhodes, but I think it's probably Rhodes, actually, now I think about it. So we're going to call them Rhodes. And Nancy also put in a little bid to get us to manage them. Turned them all down. We also had an offer from a Spanish second division team. And again, it didn't really seem like a step up from where we were, so I decided that I was going to stay at Dunkirk and possibly build the team to be slightly better. And we have had a very busy transfer window, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take you into the negotiations page so that we can see exactly who we have bought. But before we do that, actually, we're going to go into the database. We're going to go into, hang on a second, it's not that, is it? It's, good Lord Almighty, can I remember anything? So, players to have left the team, ignore all of those joins, have a look at the bottom. Tiam left us, Pierre also leaving the team, Loridan left on a transfer, Chicante is a name which you probably weren't expecting to see on the list of players who have left the club, but we had a good offer for him. He was starting to decline quite rapidly, and we actually brought in someone that does everything that Chicunte does and is also a little bit better. Brunel also leaving the club on a transfer, and so did Vachot. Vanoy has left on a loan. He's got significant potential for a young centre back, so we've put him out on loan, and hopefully he'll come back in a year's time ready to compete for first team places. Now, the players that we have signed, and you can see them all here. We'll start at the top with the German centre back, Wimmer. A very, very good centre back. In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll go into the team screen so that we can have a look at the player. So, K. Wimmer, a Austrian, sorry, not German. Not only can he play at centre back, he can also play at left back, but it's centre back where I want to play him. He's going to be playing in the place of Kuagba in the left side of the central defence. He's 29 years old. He's not getting better. In fact, he will tail off in the next year or so, but he is a massive improvement over what we already have at centre back. Left-footed, as I said, great heading, great jumping reach, great physical contact. His kicking power's not too bad either, not that that makes too much of a difference. Ball winning and defensive awareness are where it's at with the fullbacks and with the centre backs, though. And at 187 centimetres, he is going to take some beating in the air. And we all know that in this league, they love putting long balls down the centre of the pitch. So he's definitely a player that we've signed with a mind to improving in that area. You can probably tell that all of the players that we've signed, except for one, make up the entire top of the list. We have brought in nothing but quality. We've improved the quality of the squad no end over the transfer window. And most of these players were signed on a free transfer. In fact, the only player that wasn't signed on a free transfer is also the player who is worst on the list. Now, Sahin, a midfield dynamo. Look at that hexagon in the top there. He's a fantastic player, a central midfielder, Turkish player, right-footed, can play on the left or right of midfield, as well as all the way through the middle from attacking midfield into central midfield. He can also play as a support striker, which is pretty handy to have. His passing definitely backs that up. 29 years old, he's on the decline, but look, if you look at what's happened recently, actually, he was at 80, he declined down to 78, and now for the next couple of years, he's going to stay fairly solid at 78. He's worth £9.7 million. We got him on a free transfer, and that is actually the story of most of these free transfers. Kay Wimmer, also a free transfer. Danny Martin, who is a Spanish goalkeeper, very, very good goalkeeper. Signed him on a free transfer. He is only 23 years old, very nearly 24, but until he's 24, he is in fact 23. He's going to be our starting goalkeeper, maybe not immediately, but certainly he's going to take over the reins before too long. He is such a massive upgrade on Marival. It's not even funny. Now you'll see below we have another centre back, Maslov, who is a a Russian fullback, who for some reason, even though his playing style is marked as fullback, his preferred playing position is apparently centre back. We have, however, bought him as a right back. Sissoko did a decent job for us last season going forward, but defensively he was a little bit suspect. You look at the defensive ability of Maslov on the other hand, 75 ball winning, 74 defensive awareness, 80 aggression. He's a good aggressive fullback who's going to knock the seven shades of shit out of people, get hold of the ball and pump it upfield. Good heading and speed as well. His jumping's not too bad. He will definitely be pressed into service as a centre back if needed, but in honesty, we don't really need the cover at centre back. We have like 5 centre backs in the squad. Um, Next up, we were talking about the shock departure of Chicante from the team. The reason we've done that is because we have got ourselves a little Dutchman. When I say little, he's actually 193 centimeters tall. He's well over 6 foot. He's approaching 6.5 foot actually. But look at the stats there. The physical contact, which is what made Chicante such a beast for winning the ball back. Uh, Grot actually has exactly the same physical contact of 88. Looking at the rest of his stats, he's got exceptional speed for a big man, 82 speed and 80 acceleration. His finishing and heading are excellent, which means he'll be a real problem for people both on the floor and in the air. Ball control isn't the best it could be, but with dribbling of 76, I think he's going to be a handful. And at 23 years of age, he's only going to get better. So, welcome to the team, Mr. Grot. Next up, we've got Alberto. He is a Curaçaoan centre back. He's left footed as well, but he will be playing alongside Wimmer in a double left footed centre back pairing. He can also, in an emergency, play as a centre forward. Looking at his stats, you can see his finishing is awful, but if we were to load it into the box onto his head, he could be a real handful for anybody. So again, a good defensive addition to the side, 73 defensive awareness and 77 ball winning. His aggression isn't that high, so he's much more of a technical defender than he is a blood and thunder one. But I think that's probably going to be fine for us. The final signing that we made from outside of the youth team, because we do have a few youth team pickups that we're going to have to tell you about, is probably my favourite name for a midfielder that I have ever known. If you've been to America and you've eaten at a burger bar, you will probably be aware of Wuterberger. That's his name, Wuterberger. Amazing. So Wuterberger is a 20-year-old Dutch box-to-box midfielder. He's a very good all-rounded player. I've been aware of this player for a couple of years. I signed him on Football Manager 2020, I think it was. And he was just a brilliant squad player to have. I don't expect him to start many games this season, but he is an excellent all-rounder. He's solid as a rock. He doesn't excel in any one stat, but what he does have is bags of stamina, and he's right on the verge of hitting orange on several key stats, including ball control, dribbling, possession, passing, speed, jumping ability. He's going to be, I think, a very good player for us. And at 190 centimeters tall, if we're losing the height battle in the centre of midfield, he is going to be a player that we can call on. Now, I talked about the fact that we've signed a few players from the youth team, and we have indeed done that. First of all, and these are all names. If you're familiar with the youth team in Pro Evolution Soccer, you're going to know exactly who these players are. I'm not going to have to go through the details too vociferously, but I will do nonetheless. Ollikainen is the first player on the list. He's a Finnish left midfielder. He can also play left wing forward. Yeah, excuse me, I'm absolutely knackered today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Brought in as cover for left midfield. Sarnoon isn't looking like he's going to develop into a particularly superb player. However, another reason for bringing these youth team players in is if they don't work out, we can always sell them for a very healthy profit. So Ollikainen has come in to give some competition to Sarnoon. We also have Hassan on that side of the pitch, remember, who can play left wing as well as right wing. We're going to have a ding-dong battle this season, figure out who the best player for us in that position is, and then the other one will probably end up being sold. Also, we have signed Bjerre, who is a attacking midfielder. He's a Danish central midfielder who, again, can play on the left-hand side. A left footer. He can play in left midfield, defensive midfield, central and attacking midfield, as well as support striker. He is very, very good in terms of his weak foot use and ability on his right foot, sorry, which makes me think he could possibly play on the right-hand side of midfield as well. Conditioning of 8 means that he's not going to be out of form very often for us, and he's not going to be injured very often either with an injury resistance of 3. Again, he's one of those players who doesn't look particularly impressive until you look at all of the things that are very nearly turning orange. He already has 77 for aggression and tight possession, but ball control, lofted pass, curl, um, physical contact, all very close to turning orange. Ball winning as well, close to turning orange. I think we could potentially convert Bjerre into a defensive midfielder who could give us some decent cover. So that's probably where we're going to go with Bjerre. A deep lying playmaker style player with good passing, good lofted passing. We're going to have to work on that low pass. 65 is nowhere near good enough for him. But with those kind of passing stats, I think a deep lying playmaker, a defensive midfielder would probably be the best position for him. So that's what we're going to end up training him on, probably as well, we'll get there in a second. Next up, we have Mogridge, who is an Israeli right winger who can also play in attacking midfield. 19 years old, he's got great finishing, great heading, good jumping reach, 182 centimeters. He's not a small boy, and he's very quick along the ground as well. 76 acceleration means he gets up to that top speed of 73 fairly quickly indeed. A reasonable weak foot usage and accuracy rating, 7 conditioning, and 3 injury resistance. He's going to be a player that's available to us most weeks. Looks like he's going to become very good at dribbling, and he's already pretty good with the low pass stat already. I think Mogridge is a much better attacking midfield option than Bjerre is. I definitely think Bjerre is a player we're going to retrain to be a defensive midfielder. Um, and I think the last one on the list at this point is Teixeira. I don't need to introduce you to this player. We've signed him pretty much in every game that we've played on the channel. He is a backup left back for us. We signed him. He was the first signing we made actually from the youth team since you last joined us and we entered into the transfer window period. A decent player already, just as good as Sissoko, who plays on the opposite side. Defensively, not the best. We'll probably concentrate on getting his defensive stats up a little bit quicker. But going forward, he's an absolute monster and expect to see him terrorizing defenses when Sai isn't available. Sai much better defensively. So again, I think that's something we're going to have to work on with Teixeira. Wouldn't be surprised if we actually go into... In fact, should we go into training now? We are going to go into training now because I want to make those changes now so I don't forget about them later. So let's head down to Teixeira, and we're going to train him as a defensive fullback for a while. The reason being it puts more emphasis on ball winning and defensive awareness, as you can see if I flick between it. In fact, defensive awareness pretty much of a muchness. Ball winning is the important one for us at this point, so we're going to work on that. Also, it will buff his physical contact stat and his conditioning a little bit more, which will be very handy indeed. And also, we were talking about Bier as a possibility as a defensive midfielder, and its orchestrator is the one that I was thinking of. We could probably go with Anchorman, which would really give him a buff on his defensive awareness, but I think Orchestrator probably is a better all-rounded defensive midfield position, so we're going to go with Orchestrator for him. And that's pretty much it, I believe. I did decide to make Olekainen into a creative playmaker, but the more I think about it, I think prolific winger is going to push him in the direction that we need him. So we'll go with that for him. Wuterberger is learning to be box to box. I think that's a good, well-rounded training schedule for him. Sahin is marked as balanced at the moment. And I don't know about that. I think we want to put him on something that's going to protect the stats that he's really good at. And that to me would suggest classic number 10 perhaps. Maybe a whole player. Whole player could work nicely for him. Or maybe creative playmaker after all. Yeah, let's go with creative playmaker then. That should do for now. Right, so that's the training done and dusted. And that is it for this episode. It did say transfer special on the tin, and that's exactly what you got. Join us tomorrow when we will be playing the first match of a new season against Le Havre. Let's hope that the team can gel quickly and that we can push on for a top half finish. And you never know, depending on how it goes, possibly even a promotion push. Dare I say it? Oh, I don't know. I have to wait and see. Maybe I'm over egging the pudding there. Anyway, that's going to do it for another episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.